So what I'm after is a tri-cornered bowl, and in this particular case, I'm going to turn the bowl, and then a much more rounder lid than this one, with a little finial on the top to make it a tri-cornered box. So this is what we're after today, and hopefully in the next hour, this piece will look similar to this piece. So here we go. So this starts off 5 by 5. This particular piece is 5 by 5 by 5-ish. The straighter you cut this, the more square you cut this, the better your wings will come out. Mine is probably going to be off just a little bit. I just hit this with the bandsaw, chop saw. Didn't get too technical on squaring it up, but it's not a bad idea. If you have the right tools to square this and make a perfect 5 by 5, your tri-corner tips will come out much more crisp than mine probably will. But to mount this, we're using no drive. I'm using my tailstock without the pin. So the pin has been removed, and this can be removed from most live centers. So this is going to be a friction fit, coming right into the spindle, and then right into tailstock. And lock that up, just like so. And if you take your tool rest and kind of figure out as each come around, you'll be able to see how square or not square that you actually are. And actually, I'm not that far off, so should be pretty good. I'm measuring point to here to there, same thing there. All in all, not too bad. It's fairly good. Good enough for today. Obviously, this is a lot of air, so you always want to make sure you're clear with your tailstock. Everything's locked down, because obviously this could be ugly. In this particular case, Roland's about 7 feet, so he should be safe. I know Chris, because he ain't going to go that way. So, but I'm going to double check everything, Roland. So we're good there. All locked down. My face shield. Full gouge. Tool choice. This particular lathe does not have a speed control, so I can't really tell you how fast I'm going, but I'll go as fast as the machine will let me and my nerves will let me. Turn it on. That'll get us started. There we go. You can see the 2 points there. I'm going to finish up on this point, not this one. So this one was going to go away. This particular point is those 3. Those are the 3 that we're after. So we're just going to start off real light, nothing serious. Just taking off the corners. That's all I'm trying to do. Get the corners. Light cut. High. With it, because the one that comes with the Powermatic is 14 inches, and a little bit of a challenge to work with it. So we're going to keep going with this. I'm high. That's my tool. You can see how we're going, just basically getting all the corners off. And with this particular turning, you want to keep your tool rest as close as you can get it for the whole turn. Put some of the corners off, we'll pick up a little bit more speed. To get a better of a cut. Coming down, taking care of those. That set of wings is coming right off. The other set just a little bit more speed. Now you can see we're getting a little bit of a smoother cut once all those corners are off. Don't want to go too crazy on this end because I am going to put a tenon on there. And so because of the V shape, I want to make sure I leave enough to grab for the tenon. Again, now we can get some speed and make it a little easier. So the piece is V-shaped, a cone, I guess you might say. So trying to keep that shape, and what I'm looking at is that final wing. Obviously, you don't want to cut that off, or there goes the corner. So come in. Right on the bevel, as cut as I can get. Right up to the end, make it easy, don't want to break those off yet. Don't want to break them off, period, but you can see where, so we're getting there now. Here is good, there, and now just bring this shape up with, and trying not to damage these tips, corners, whatever you want to call them. A little bit more speed. There we go. So we're trying to make a nice cut here. I don't want to go crazy sanding if I don't have to. I have to get pretty good at sanding. Break those. See the lines are moving right there. So now we're trying to be careful down here to leave myself enough meat to make sure I can get a nice tenon on there. But this shape, trying to make it as large as I can. So I don't want to go crazy up here, but down here, obviously, we clean that up a little bit more. And I'm kind of watching this where my tenon's going to be. Stay on that bubble and get a nice clean cut. Mike came over and helped me sharpen my tools today, so the grinder a little different. Working with Woodcutter's Wonders today, and these are not my typical grinds, but this turned out to be better. So I just want to keep an eye on that. Get that measurements. I know I'm nowhere near there, but just want to keep in mind that that's where my tenon's going to be. Going this way just a little bit. Plenty of ways to go. But now I've set a ridge that I can tell I don't cut too much off. lot of the guys with experience will be able to do this and measure at the same time. That's not me. But very, very close to where I want to be. I'm going to clean this up again some more. We get it. That should give me the spot that I'm looking for. So I'm going to switch over to, just going to use a square carbide. The chuck that I'm going to be using has Talon jaws. They do not have the dovetail jaws, so I just use my square carbide cutter. I grab the square, put that in the square. I didn't bring my square one up. That's okay. So we'll just use the power tool. Same thing. Just not It's actually an easy thing to do the whole lap. I just found the camera. I think I'll skip that step. Clean this up. Do it the safe way. I don't make that mess. So there we go. That's that. Almost went just a tad too far, but it'll be all right. So when I did that, I nicked the bowl just a little bit, so I have to come back in. This is the one that Mike's talking. Holy Jesus, Mike. Long Irish grind. What the hell? I must have known. That's not the right tool for that. So I didn't ruin the corners. I got a little bit more to clean them up, but I just want to make sure there was no damage there. And my tenon will fit. I'm going to grab my other parting tool. Thought I had it out, did not. Work with. Parting tool. Before I cut it off, I just want to make sure so I have a spot there that needs to be cleaned up. And I can clean that up a little bit better for the tenant. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a little bit that didn't get shaved off, so I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. Really good. And this time, the last demo we did wasn't one of my best. I want to make sure we don't make that mistake today. So this, a little bit of a spot there that didn't get turned yet. We'll make one more pass there. Yep. So I'm going to just clean this up. We've got a little ridge on most of my corners have. They all have the same thing. So it's going to take a little bit from here to there, and then we'll put this in the truck. True resting, just a wee bit. Keep those as clean as I can get them. Not too bad. A lot of this can be done with the sander after the fact, but I've got a ridge right there I'm going to try to take care of as well. I'll sand that in. That's not too bad for today. So rather than trimming that with the parting tool all the way down, I take the easy road, bring out the Japanese road, a couple of cuts. Oh, that'll actually still leave me a mark where I know where my center is if I should need it in the future. Close enough. At least it has the butler attachment, which what a handy little device that is. It's almost like the swing away, only it's now we'll get this in the chuck. Right. And now it's just basic hollowing for the most part from here on out. there's a wobble there. Not much, but enough that we may be able to make sure we're all the way in. So I'm just going to come in and follow this out. For guys that don't use the bulldog or prefer the carbide tool, a lot of this could be done using the square. I was going to actually get into that a little bit, but I think most of you guys are bulldog people, so just that. Again, to keep your full rest as close as you can with this type of a turn. So it spins. Basically, just keep taking this off until you get to a flat edge. And then if you guys like to use drills to get your depth, you could, at any point do that from here on out. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep following. Up a little higher. I know that's not the one that came before. That's why that little nubs there. So these are the points where you want to pay attention to. And, obviously I'm a good inch and a half away. But you want to keep an eye on these, not to get away from yourself and hollow those out, because then you won't have the tri-corners. So keep an eye on those. And a lot of this, you can almost see this while it's spinning, especially while it's an inch thick. And it's way out here, so there's plenty of room. And then from here we can start adding a little depth to each cut. Coming in a little bit deeper. More you take off on the outside, if you have something to work with going in. Again, I'm still a good inch. And a couple of cuts. By just backing the heel into the T to find out where your stop is. I'm talking and you want to pay attention to this corner. my mark, then I won't accidentally talk my way through it. So catching up now, we're into about a half an inch. So I'm gonna get a little bit more and then hollow, and then we'll dress that up as we go.
Is this piece of dry wood or is it green?
I wouldn't say it's dry. It's gonna have some movement in it. And the thing with this, because I'm trying to make a box, is when you're using a piece like this, probably not a bad idea to do this in a double turn, because it's gonna walk a little bit, because it's a green cherry pearl. I wouldn't call it green, but it's definitely not dry yet either. I did 2 of these as practice, and the box itself wasn't that bad. It wasn't awful. I mean, it moved, but it wasn't awful. That's why I say still a double turn wouldn't be a bad idea. Over here a little bit. Get a little chatter, but that's okay. We'll clean that up later. This dial says 60 degrees, Mike, right? The one you just run a couple of months ago, 60 degrees. A little bit easier to get in. Too rough, being so high. Not working out that well. So what I'm going to do, now that I'm on the outside, switch over to the one that belongs there. This way the headstock does move, so this could be done walking it down, but never really done that, so just with this plan for now. Didn't turn much of the whole summer, so a lot of my techniques are extremely rusty. A little bit of a chatter there. I'm ready if you got something to say. I'm ready. Say it.
That's it. Let that drive in as far as you can, and then keep it parallel with the form that you're looking for. So if you let this go in as far as you can,
Okay.
and bring it to your wall, then you're not having this much overhang. You're just going to stay with a short overhang.
So I'm working just the face is what you're saying.
Yeah, but you can bring it here.
Yeah.
But bring this in as far as you can.
I'll bring this in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then keep this parallel with that outside wall. So that way you have less overhang, and you're not.
Yeah.
You're using almost this much overhang when you're going in.
Well, that's why I like that little.
Yeah.
The little one is easier.
But now you can clean up some of this, and then when you try to get back down to the bottom, then you just bring this over.
Yeah.
And now you can get deeper into the bottom.
Where we go. Can always pick up a good tip here at these meetings. So again, I'm going to back into this. We'll get to the bottom. So gaining ground now. So I put about a half an inch on the tips, but yet my inside is still fairly thick, probably closer to 3/4. So I'll make a couple of more passes here, and that'll define this edge a little bit better and sharpen my tips up, if you will. Try to get this as close as I can, as Roland suggested, and then I'll go deeper on the bottom. So I use the heel of the tool to come in. And the sight down the side. Thickness uniform as I can. More of a bottom feeder grind on this particular tool. So I've got a fairly good thickness here, and if I was gonna put this away, now would be the time. But I'm not worried that this moves too much, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep going a little bit more. But if it was, if you were gonna have this as a perfect piece, you probably want to stop, let it dry, put it back in, leave it. Not that bad though. So I'm going to try to just get a little bit thinner. I'm still a good almost 3/4 of an inch. So there's a real lot of room there to work with. Get a couple of passes without the, I'm going to do a little bit on the wings, but I don't want to lose my we get that fairly clean. I typically will sand these. I've got my disc sander ready. If you're careful, someone with a lot of experience, you can just come right up and clean all this off. I get a little nervous that I'm going to wing these and then ruin it, so I'll hit these corners with the sander real briefly, and then I'm going to take my negative rate carbide cutter and see if we can't just clean up some of the inside here. Just picked this up a few weeks ago, so I'm like, give this a try. So it is a negative rate carbide. And then I am tilted the tip just a little bit, not a lot, but it is a negative rate. Come right out. You can probably see those lines. I can see them, but they're in there. So a couple of passes. Not too shabby, sandable. And I do have my sander. So what I'm going to do just real quick is 150 grit. I'm not turned on. There's a switch behind the saw. Yep, just turn that one on. going to go crazy sanding. I think you get the picture. So depending on your skill level, there's a lot. I've still got a lot of meat here. This could be turned down probably another 1/4 of an inch all the way down. But it will move tomorrow. It won't be true anymore. So I'm going to leave it a little thick, and then tomorrow, well, another week from now, I'll put it back in and bring it down the rest of the way. So at this point, if it was a bowl, I just sand the inside, and basically it would be finished. Cut the bottom off, the foot off. But we want it to be a box. So I'm just going to get a rough idea of what the inside would be. See that? Get that off. How the hell under here? I'm afraid of the mosquitoes, so I wore the jacket, and now you gotta pay the price. So take this off. Switch over to just a regular drive center. I just picked one. It doesn't really matter which one. Whatever your favorite is, I guess. Need my tailstock back. Fidgety from time to time. Watch it, maybe. All right. Put my pin back in my tailstock. I've already got a center hole that I kind of want. Do that out of the way. This is also a piece of cherry, not from the same piece, which I would have preferred it to be from the same piece, but the piece I had kind of started to walk and check a little premature, so I just happen to have a piece of cherry laying around. So this is not the same wood, but I don't know that that's not the end of the world. But it would be probably look a lot nicer if it was from the same cut, and this is not. I just want to kind of know, I'm right where my circle lines are, so I'm basically just going to make this round and then form it in a little bit. You could put a rim around the inside of the bowl to catch the lid. But what I'm going to do is taper this down, so it's kind of like a locking fit. No shelf, but you could put a shelf. Probably be a nice little design doing it that way. Got a mark that's kind of close to where I want to be, so I'm just going to go to that. Right about there. before I move that, I just want to make sure my face is. Is. Adjust this so I don't know. Like, all right. The only dilemma with these big 14-inch tool rests, very difficult to do these smaller projects. And I'm going to put a tenon on this end. You don't have to. I was doing this demo for a different club, and this next step could actually be done on drill press just as easy. So what I want to do is just clear this in so that it'll fit as the inside, obviously, of the box gets smaller, this will kind of fit in. Not really measuring it, just by eye, I guess. Oh, this is going to come off anyway. Basically, what I'm going to end up doing, this lid is I'm going to part it off, but first I'm going to put a tenon on, and then I'm going to drill, I think I pulled out a 5/16 or a 3/8 drill bit, something to that effect. I'm not 100% sure. Doesn't really matter. First I'm going to try to, I'm going to put some type of a finial on the top. Just want to make this so I can put the stuff on there. But if you wanted to just part this off and bring it to the drill press and use that center hole, you certainly could do that. Slowly wear out there. Fix that when I get it in the chuck, and then also fix that as well. amount of sawdust I got bound up in there. Get this. Get that in. Now, what I'm going to do is just clean this tab up, and then kind of got a little rough with the gouge right there. We'll clean that up, and then put a hole in for the finish. No, that's not too high. Too low. I leave that little bit of a hole there because that'll help my drill bit. Let's clean that. I'll try to just clean that a little bit of a mistake I made there with the quite rough. I'll put that with the sandpaper. A little bit of 150. As I was coming in to make the part and caught, kind of nicked a little bit of groove in here, which I don't want to take too much off of this so the cover sits too deep. I want it to be as tall as I can. I wasn't counting on making a divot in there. Not too shabby. Just like that. I'm not going to go crazy because I want the cover to be as tall or sticking out. I don't want to fall too far into the box. So I'm going to wrap this up by hand rather than so then whatever I grab, actually this might be 3/8. It doesn't really matter what size. You can have this any size you want. It's just I'm going to put a little bit of a tenon on my finials and glue it into that. You don't need to go all the way in, just enough to that, because we're going to part it on. I was going to say, geez, I grabbed the parting tool like 3 times in a row. Not that time. Not that time. So when I part this off, I am going to have a spot on there that I'll have to clean up after the fact. But I could also put that between centers. That's not good. Yep, my top. All right. Well, that's not good. So that's not repairable. But that reminds me of last time we did a. Oh yeah, I
Too
could do.
small?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that again with the same piece. Without too much work at all, actually. That was kind of the demo we did a couple of weeks ago, right? Put it all the way to the end and whoops. Not the end of the world. It won't be the last time, that's for sure. That's why that saw doesn't cut that well. So we'll try that again.
And if you didn't have a large enough piece to finish it, it doesn't matter. You can use another one because it didn't match.
It wasn't
to
the
begin
same.
with.
It wasn't the same set anyway. The first time I did it, it was from the same set, and obviously looks a lot better. But for today, I just wanted to get the point across of how it's done. This one actually has less mix in it. I'll screw that up a little bit. The trick is going to be to not going to have as much room to work parting it off. That's all right. I think I probably have enough hole, but that should be plenty for that. They don't personally realize they want to get as much as they can so they don't have to make enough for them. should go right through and cut it like that. Or you could break out the handsaw. One with all the two marks I'm hitting about anyway. Up there, Mike. Oops, never mind. So this was my, or is going to be my top. This I just want to clean up. So I'm just going to use that there as my finial will cover the, I'm going to make these groove holes in there, but when I put the finial on there, it'll hide that. I'll still be able to clean this up just a little bit. Just in case anybody looks at the bottom of the lid, because I know there's some people here that will. So I'm just going to put that in there. And the drill hole didn't actually go all the way through, which is not the end of the world. We can address that later. Just want to clean it up a little bit because it is the bottom. And then the top, I'll sand the top. I'll put that there. Probably never get it straight again. Now that I poked that hole in there. I'm counting on that hole to help me out. I didn't. Piece is actually warping a little bit already. It's not going to work out the way we hope. Yeah, sanding is definitely going to be the way to do this. The other way is I could have just took the pin out. You know, I could do it the other way. Backwards. Okay. So that ain't going to work the way I was hoping. That's all right. Just clean it up the old-fashioned way. If you're ever going to make a mistake, normally when you're doing the demo, that's the time to make them. Seems to be anyway. So obviously breaking that off was not a part of the plan. So what I'll do is I'll just hit this and clean it up with the disc sander, and all this I'll clean up, and then once I put the finial on, you won't see these marks anyway. Get this out of there. Keep that anyway. Don't know why I'm going so crazy. Now, up a piece of, I believe it's Coca-Cola. Probably not going to work well, but we'll try it. This jar comes from Grizzly, and the jars are Nova, and it's not a good match, nor is the piece true enough to fit the jar. So definitely going to use the tailstock. Just try to get this a little round to start, not like that. Definitely got to order one of those shorter versions. I haven't done very many of these, other than the two package pieces. So I'm just looking for some type of a simulator that's not too delicate, because it is the lift, it's the lifting device for the lid. So I want it fancy, but not ridiculous. So I'm going to bring this down quite a bit. But don't really have a shape in mind, as you can tell. I'm just gonna something. There you go. That's a little bit nice. Now down here, I want to leave this round enough to cover the mistakes in the lid that I'm going to make tomorrow. Something like that. And I'll clean this up once I get rid of the tailstock. Something to that effect. What I want to do here is just check my drill bit. I'm pretty sure it's actually 3/8. So with my parting tool, I'm going to leave that foot there for the lid. I'm going to bring this down. is to just bring this down to match the drill bit. A little bit small is okay because I'm going to fill that up with glue. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'll just pull the tail sock out enough that I can clean up this little nub and make it, I don't want to say a point, but just want to clean it up. That's really all I'm going to try to do. And I don't want this to be delicate because it's to lift the lid, so I'm not going for delicate. And that can now be pretty much sanded, oiled, finished, etc., etc. You can part it right off, but so I'm leaving enough that fit into the lid. Well, at least it's supposed to in the directions. Clean that up just a little bit with sandpaper. And it does fit. So because I broke the other piece, I need to re-drill this out. But so I'm going to drill that out just enough, sand some of this out. But I think I'll actually make another lid because once this broke, it kind of threw me off my game. So it's not perfect. So I'm going to return the box anyway. Got the basic shape, and the idea that I was going for was that. And you can see this movement, a little bit of movement. This is a tricky measurement for me, but this is where a shelf would make a really good idea to catch this lid, which would be really easy to just hollow that down a little bit more, leave a shelf to catch the lid, and then therefore it wouldn't do that, what it's doing right now, just, you know, popping in and popping out. But I think that could actually also, what I'm trying to do is catch this angle to match this. And when I return, I may be able to, you know, really hit the home run there. But I think the shelf is probably a better idea. Just leave enough that this will sit right in place. And then you get yourself a nice little decorative tri-cornered box. There. Oh. And then nobody asked the last time, but last time I did this demo, nobody asked, but at some point you got to get the foot off, and simply, obviously, that would just be a jam chuck, or I think my vacuum chuck will actually do this too, which I'm kind of playing with that, but just a regular jam chuck will take this off, you know, right up against the chuck and hold it. I still have that there. I'll take the pin out. Still have the right hole to center it on the bottom. But again, I'm going to return this, so I'm not going to pop this off. Again, this is fairly thick, so we can bring this down a lot more, make it nice and delicate, put some nice oil, bring it over to Roland's house, have him finish it, and it'd be even better with that new varnish he's got, which you got to see the piece in person, which is unbelievably stunning. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece.